you have an opinion based on if you had to go with your gut, which way it would go?
Sometimes you have to ask it over and over and over again.
Why?
This is 10 Questions with Greg Bedard and Felger and Mazz on 98.5, The Sports Hub.
All right, 10 questions in 8 minutes now. We got to be quick. So, Jimmy, what are our buzzer options?
Is that tortoise music?
That would be it.
I don't get it, but that was obviously Max and Grandy.
I mean, that's a great point.
Thank you, Mac.
But yeah, that's a good question.
Excellent.
What's that, huh?
I think that's Big Jim Murray impersonating Mac Jones. And I think that's Big Jim Murray impersonating Caleb Williams. Can you just flex one of the teams? No, you can't do that.
No, you can't do that.
Because that's a stupid statement. Top 10 dumbest things ever uttered on this show, which is saying something. Okay, that's it. Hit it.
I mean, that's a great point.
Thank you, Mac. How do you feel about a team in Europe, Greg? And if there is to be one, where should it be?
A team? There's going to be a division in Europe at some point. I mean, the plan, the long-term plan for the NFL is to get a team, then a division, then a whole conference in Europe, and then you have a true world. That's the long-term 50-year vision for the NFL. So I would start in London, but London, Barcelona, Frankfurt, and Amsterdam, sort of where they had NFL Europe. That'll be the division in, I don't know, let's say 30 years.
Huh. I don't like one team in Europe. Not one. No.
Do you like these Europe games?
I like the TV slot. I like the 9:30 a.m. game. I mean, but London would be the place to start.
To me, Germany feels like the place to start because they give a crap. I can just feel the atmosphere in those games is better than.
And there's a lot of Americans there because of the military and things like that.
That
people have stayed? Yeah, that's what I've heard from people.
So whatever it is, I feel it works better just from an atmosphere standpoint in those Frankfurt games and in those London games. You ever thought, Joe Murray? You can chime in.
It's probably London, but I think it's killing the game though. Like I know it's good and the NFL's making money, but these things are killing the game. It's another thing to add of why offense and the NFL is getting worse week by week.
Okay, next. So that is Big Jim Murray impersonating Caleb Williams, who cried in his mother's lap in that game on Saturday. That has led Big Jim Murray to be out on Caleb Williams. How do you feel about that take? How do you feel about that moment for Caleb Williams?
It's not a great look, but I am not tossing aside the talent. I mean, look, I'm doing more of a deep dive on his makeup, competitiveness, things like that to determine whether I would take him number one. But I'm not, just because he weeped in the stands, I'm not tossing him out.
I think the whole thing is embarrassing, and I wouldn't take him number one.
Wow.
Joe?
He's absolutely has the highest ceiling of any quarterback we've seen in years. I would still take him number one. I don't care that he cried. But the reason why he cried is because his defensive coordinator sucks, and he got fired over it, and he does everything he can, but his defense stinks. Now, it doesn't help that he threw 3 interceptions against Notre Dame, but he keeps them in games. He's got that whole program back. He's still the number one pick. I don't care what anyone says.
I've never met anybody who hates college coordinators more than Joe Murray.
Costs them money.
Ding.
Dong.
I mean, that's a great point.
Number 8, Gardner Minshew or Mac Jones?
I love Gardner Minshew. He would be on my team. I wanted him here with Cam Newton and things like that, but Mac Jones.
Minshew. Minshew unanimously.
You would take Mac Jones over Gardner Minshew, Greg?
Yeah. Gardner Minshew is not an NFL starter. Mac still has a chance, possibly.
Minshew's intangibles are better than anything that Mac Jones has, but Jones is a better talent.
Wow. Surprised to hear you say that. Next.
But yeah, that's a good question.
The NFL Network is celebrating its 20th year on the air. Do you watch? Do you like the product? What's the best thing they do?
I don't watch a ton during the season, but I think they really do Path to the Draft well. It helps me catch up on all the draft stuff, and they do deep dives. They do good stuff on the draft.
So I watch sporadically, but I will say their specials are their best. Like the Football Life stuff, I like those.
So that's NFL Films.
Oh, but they air it.
They air it, but
Okay,
I think
didn't realize that.
I think it really goes back to NFL. I think those are NFL Films productions.
In that case, they suck.
Great sideline reporters.
Okay, I just like the game replays during the week. I think it's a wonderful thing to have on during the week. There's usually a game a night.
Yep.
It helps you sort of catch up with what you didn't see during the week. So that's what I like. Next.
What's that? Huh?
That's Greg impersonating that's Big Jim Murray impersonating a jittery Mac Jones. Number 6, Miami's victories this year have been against the Chargers, Broncos, Giants, Panthers, and Patriots twice. None have a winning record. Are the Dolphins frauds?
They are not. Their 3 losses are against the Bills when they were healthy, the Eagles, and the Chiefs. Not exactly
Chop liver.
Exactly. And so I think they are learning lessons that I think will pay off, and their defense is getting a lot better. You know, they get people back. Their defense is going to be really good. So I really like them.
Fraud team, soft. They got absolutely smacked around by Buffalo, Philadelphia, and Kansas City. Physical defenses that expose them for being soft.
Front runners, not frauds.
Next. Can you just flex one of the teams? No, you can't do that.
No, you can't do that.
Because then those guys, that's a stupid statement. I mean, think of what I asked there.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about the permutations of that.
Can a collapsed lung inflate?
We were asking about the Patriots. They've never flexed a Monday night game that in the history of the schedule. They've never flexed a Thursday night game. They can do both this year, and we were wondering if the Patriots were going to get flexed. That led this genius to ask, well, can you just flex one of the teams? Just think about that for half a second. Think how that would work. But anyway, tool bag question. Is Jim Irsay, owner of the Colts, a tool bag or sort of a lovable character of the game?
Now I think he's kind of a lovable doofus. That's where I am on him.
Jackhammer, please. The guy's a tool.
Wicked tool. If he didn't have money, he'd be nothing.
Next.
But yeah, that's a good question.
Thank you, Mac. Irsay's father, Robert, famously moved the Colts to Indianapolis from Baltimore in the dead of night in 1984. Kids don't remember this or could appreciate this, but that was quite a thing.
It was unbelievable.
He knew it would be so controversial and the city would be in such a tizzy that literally the trucks rolled out in the middle of the night with all their gear and drove to Indianapolis. Anyway, name your least favorite franchise move in your lifetime. Any team, any sport, Greg.
So sentimentally, I want to say the Whalers to Charlotte, to Carolina. But look, a major league franchise was never going to stay in Hartford in that TV market. It just wasn't going to happen. So I go Sonics to Oklahoma City. That was a great basketball market, great teams, and they ripped that team out of there.
So the first Oakland Raiders move bothered me. There was something about Oakland and football at that time that was good, but I also had the Supersonics. Like, they should have a basketball team. They're talking about bringing one back there. They should. Seattle's a legit sports town now. Like, they should absolutely have basketball there.
Joe, you want to win?
Quebec Nordiques. That was one of my favorite. I had the Eric Lindros car and everything. He wouldn't play there, and that one was sad.
I think the LA Rams moving to St. Louis. I mean, just an absolute joke. St. Louis, please. You know, that's maybe the one town in America that doesn't give a crap about football. Even worse than LA. So I hated that one. Next.
I mean, that's a great point.
Mac, what team should move? Any team, any sport, any city. What should be the next relocation, Greg?
Rays to Montreal.
I was going to say Arizona Coyotes to Quebec City.
Ooh,
Like
good one.
they got to get the idea that they're playing in a college arena is the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen in sports. Get them out of there. Get them out.
Definitely Arizona. Like, come on. That needs to be better than what it is.
100%. The Coyotes, but to Milwaukee. Or give me the Florida Panthers to Milwaukee. Give me a team in Wisconsin, could you please? Next.
Be Edgers.
Can you just flex one of the teams? No, you can't do that.
No, you can't do that.
Because then those guys, that's a stupid statement. Okay, now here we go, Joe, and all you Vegas Raider fans. Greg, what happened with Vegas with Josh McDaniels?
Bottom line is he didn't get enough winning plays from the quarterback position over 25 games, and that cost him his job. If he had one more, none of this other stuff, we weren't happy, any stuff that's coming out now, it wouldn't have mattered. As long as they won, it didn't matter. They didn't win enough, and it was because of the quarterback position, and he's involved in that. And that's the bottom line. I mean, there were a bunch of other moves, and we could talk about a bunch of other stuff, but the bottom line is the quarterbacks did not make enough winning plays, sort of like here.
Was he too much of a turbo a-hole?
No. He went about this in a completely different way. I have a lot of respect. They went in with him and Dave went in with the best intentions. And, like the move, the move to keep Carr, that was because he didn't want to do what he did in Denver. But in hindsight, they probably just should have started over and sold the farm and got a young quarterback. And, don't get Devontae Adams if the rest of the team isn't ready for it. Because he's going to be asked after every game, how come he didn't get enough balls? And it's going to be an issue. So, a lot of micro stuff went on there. But the big thing was Derek Carr didn't make enough winning plays. They lost 7 games by 1 score. He didn't make enough plays. Some of that is on McDaniels. Some of that is on Carr. And then Jimmy was just not Jimmy this year. He just wasn't. He wasn't good enough.
All right, let's go right to the last one, please. Can you just flex one of the teams? No, you can't do that.
No, you can't do that.
Because then that's a stupid,
Yeah.
stupid statement. Where is the best landing spot for McDaniels, and in what role?
Not sure about his family situation on whether he can, move from here or what have you, but I would love to see him go with either Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco or McVay in LA and just, be on their staff and just see how somebody else does it and pick up some things, new things for your offense, things like that.
Do you think he'll land back in the league as an offensive coordinator?
Yes, at some point. I don't know when. I mean, he doesn't have to work anytime soon, and he might take some time off. I don't know.
OC at Pittsburgh or Seattle. Those are both decent teams with bad offenses.
I want him to
Good
learn
one.
some more tricks with his offense, though. That's why I want to, maybe for the rest of the season, just go hang out with McVay or Shanahan. Just add a little bit more to his offense, which I think is good, but it can be better.
Joe, you've got?
I go college if I was him. They're getting big money there. Texas A&M's probably going to move on from Jimbo at some point, and maybe he'll be Nick Saban's next offensive coordinator when Tommy Rees moves on. So he's going to get paid now, but I think he should go to college.
Okay, thus concludes 10 questions. Back to your calls after the update.